Hey everybody, I hope you are doing really and Plein Air Magazine, and today it's the 84th day in a row, 84 days, no time off. There is no rest for the weary. We are looking for ways to keep our minds in this game and keep our heads out of all the problems that are going on in the world. So that's what this is all about. I'm out on the porch. I'm here in the Adirondack Mountains, and there's a boat going by. You're going to hear the noises of boats and construction and kids playing on the dock and all that other stuff. So that's what this is all about. That's what Lake Time is about. Today I'm going to talk about the 10 myths that keep you from being a wealthy artist. And yes, you can be a wealthy artist. I know so many. We'll talk about that. A couple of reminders today. First off, you can win a full registration to the Plein Air Convention or the Figurative Art Convention and Expo by going to StreamlineGiveaway.com. Streamline is my company, StreamlineGiveaway.com. You got to do it before the end of the month because we'll pull it out on the 1st of July. And that's a really nice prize, and both are really terrific events. One is taking place in August in Santa Fe, Plein Air Convention, and that's a perfect time of year to be in Santa Fe. It's when the tourist season is its highest, and it looks like it's going to be okay, and it looks like it's going to be allowed, and of course we always follow any safety guidelines, and plus we have a COVID guarantee, which means if any of our events this year you cannot attend because you don't feel safe or because we reschedule or something, then please know you can get your money back. So don't let that prevent you. We actually have people registering. As a matter of fact, it's really an interesting phenomenon because I think people are kind of tired of being locked up. And so we had, because of COVID, we had a bunch of people cancel their registrations to the Adirondack event, my Publisher's Invitational, which was originally scheduled for June. When we ended up rescheduling it, we lost about, I think, 50 or 75 people. And now that things are kind of coming around, and up here in the Adirondacks, we're on phase 4, I believe. Anyway, we had record registrations. It's the largest, it's sold out, and it's the largest Adirondack event we've ever done. More people than ever. We have a big facility. We have ways to keep you protected and spread out, and including ways to do that in rooms. And so it's our largest ever. So we think that the Plein Air Convention is going to rebound. We've already got over 500 people registered. We normally have 900 to 1,000 people. So there may be a couple of benefits. First off, it might be a little bit more intimate than normal, but at the last minute, it may be everybody piling on and deciding to come because a lot of people are taking a wait and see attitude. Understandable, but please don't do that. Just go ahead and register and know that you'll get your money back. We never spend that money. We have that all put away in a separate account. We never touch it until we've actually realized the income, and then then we pay our bills and things like that. So it's going to be a phenomenal event. We got a lot of really impressive faculty members who are coming, and they still tell us they're coming. Also, the Figurative Art Convention and Expo is taking place October 29th in Baltimore, and the same thing, don't delay. We've got an incredible lineup of artists, and you have a chance to win a ticket. But if you win a ticket and you've already registered, please know we'll refund your registration, or you can give it to a friend or something like that. But please know that this is the time you want to get booked for those things. The next thing is, I am so excited. I can hardly contain myself. It is, it's like, when you have a dream, I don't know if you've experienced this, I'm sure you have, but when you have a dream and then you see that dream come from a dream to actually happening, and then you see it from actually happening to people signing up and being interested, and so I have this dream. First off, I love plein air painting. I love to be part of the plein air community. I love to do anything I can to make it grow. And I've been interviewing a lot of people on the Plein Air podcast lately from countries around the world. And they're telling me that what we're doing here in the States is really stimulating interest in the other parts of the world. So there is now a booming plein air movement, for instance, in the United Kingdom, in Ireland, in Scotland, and in England. And there's a booming plein air world starting now in Europe. And of course, we're hearing from people all over the world. As a matter of fact, I was communicating this morning with a friend of mine, and a new friend that came because of these videos, came from Egypt. And so there's a plein air movement in Egypt, and I've seen some really beautiful paintings done in plein air in Egypt and Norway and boy, I'll tell you, I can't even list them all. There's so many people who are painting. So this is the first time I've had this dream of getting the world together, letting us get to know the world and having the world together. So for the first time in history, we are doing an event which will get the global plein air community together, whether you're a painter, whether you're a show organizer, maybe you're a collector, all of you will be together as one for our first global, we're calling it experience, right? So it's more than a conference, it's an experience, and it's a virtual experience, so you can do it in the safety of your own home, your living room, if you're concerned about that, or maybe you just couldn't travel for any particular reason. We're still doing our live events, but we have already an incredible lineup. It is not going to be announced until, looks like Friday. But here's the deal. There's going to be a special incentive that if you go on the waiting list and you get on the waiting list, and then you will get the first notice before anybody else, before the public notice, you get the first notice of what this event is going to be like. And keep in mind, this is 4 days online, 4 days of a really incredible event, and long days. And there's a fifth optional day, which is a beginner's day for all the little baby planners, what this world is all about. That's an optional thing. And so there's going to be an incentive. I'm not sure what day it's going to expire. I think it's a week from Wednesday, but I may be wrong, where you're going to get a special gift that if you go ahead and sign up, you're going to get this special gift. There's a boat going by, so you're going to hear boats. Anyway, that's get on the wait list. I don't know how many people are on the wait list now, but I know it's probably over 1,000 now, because a few days ago it was already at 850 or 900. So you want to get to be a part of that, and just know that this is something you can watch like you're watching here. You can watch it on your iPad, your TV, your cell phone, your computer, and it's going to be phenomenal. We've kind of reinvented ourselves, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's pleinairlive.com, and you want to make sure to get that on your, the dates are going to start, it's going to be July 15th through 18th, and the beginner's day is going to be on the 14th. I'll be talking more about it. I've got, like I said, some big names lined up for this thing, and it's going to be really unique and really fun and a phenomenon, and you will not want to miss that. Yesterday I announced I'm giving away some prizes. Today's prizes, the winner of the Plein Air Magazine apron is Beth Nelson Varnado from Georgia. So thumbs up to Beth Nelson Varnado from Georgia. The Fine Art Connoisseur Digital Edition subscription 1 year goes to Diane Hutton in Arizona. All right, Diane. And you guys need to be hitting that like button and that heart button. That's so people can see your encouragement. And then the book, the marketing book, Make More Money Selling Your Art, which is an Amazon bestseller that I wrote about, I don't know, about a year ago, 2 years ago, I don't remember, goes to Elizabeth Gay McDonald in Ontario. That's one of our international viewers. So congratulations to you guys. Now, every day we have been giving you video samples every day for 84 days straight. We've been giving you some new. For the first 60 or 70 days, everything was new. And then we started doing some repeats because people were like, I want to be able to see these. And so every day we've been doing a video at 3 p.m. and a video at 9 p.m. And today we have two brand new, well, one of them is brand new, never been seen before. The other one I think is almost brand new. Maybe it's been seen. I think maybe we did one broadcast of it. So today at 3, and this is going to be fun. Remember yesterday or the day before, I was talking about the importance of experimentation and getting yourself out of your own way, and growing your brain, and learning to be a better artist by playing around and experimenting. Today is going to be a brand new video that we just released. It's by Karen Knutson. It's called Fun with Acrylics, and it is fun. And so it uses acrylic paints. Of course, you can do what she's saying with other paints, but you might want to try it with some acrylics. Most of us have some around. And it really is kind of a get you out of your box thinking kind of video. You're going to really enjoy that. And the thing I said yesterday, and I want to reiterate, is people every day have been telling me, I watched something I didn't think I was going to dig, and I totally learned things from it. You will learn from every video we air. And even if you say, well, I'm not a portrait painter, I'm not going to watch a portrait video, watch it anyway, because first off, you might learn some things about painting that have nothing to do with portrait videos. Secondly, you might get enthusiastic about something new. I was watching a portrait painting thing the other night with Michael Holter, and I got so enthusiastic that I'm going to go into town, I think tomorrow morning. I've got an appointment in town tomorrow morning. I'm going to get to town. I'm going to stop at the bookstore. I'm going to buy some watercolors, and then I'm going to get back here in time for the broadcast. That's the plan. I hope it works. Otherwise, I might be late or disappear, but I don't want to break my streak. I want to also tell you that this is day number 84. We have been working on and have something really, really big planned for day number 100, because we're going to celebrate this idea of being together 100 days. So remember, today at 3 p.m., Karen Knutson, Fun with Acrylics. And then tonight at 9 p.m., Joanne Manji, you know her from her dog portrait paintings, but she's going to teach you how to do a portrait of a horse tonight. Now, a lot of people, we were really surprised how many people love painting horses. And I think that kind of goes back to just in general, we all love horses. And Joanne has this way with animals and has this unbelievable feeling that she's able to capture animals. And you're going to love the video tonight. And Joanne, of course, and Karen will both be on their broadcast and be answering questions and interacting with you. And it's just kind of fun. So make sure that you do these. If we can keep audiences high, we'll keep doing them. If we can't, we won't. So we'll just see what that looks like. Today we're going to give away a pair of value specs, and you win today by leaving a comment. So these are value specs, and they basically reduce everything down to the values. So when I put them on, I can see, right now I'm looking at, for instance, the trees, and they don't seem really all that dark to me, yet when I put the value specs on, I realize they're a lot darker than I imagined they would be. So when I can lay in my painting by, looking at these, looking down at my colors, laying them in, it really helps me. And then I can correct my values. Now, ultimately, you want to learn to do it without this, but because you don't necessarily want to crutch. But this is a really great training vehicle. And quite frankly, I've been painting for 25 years. These have changed my life. And so you can get these at Value Specs, S-P-E-C-S, valuespecs.com. And we're going to give away a pair for tomorrow. We're also going to give away a digital subscription to Plein Air Magazine. I've mentioned this before. Plein Air Magazine is the #1 selling art magazine in America at Barnes & Noble. Outsells all the art and all the photography magazines. And you will get a digital subscription for 1 year. And that digital subscription includes 20% extra content in every issue that is not in the print issue. So most people who subscribe to the print they get the print and the digital. That way they get the digital faster, and they also have the print to be able to look at. Somebody on the comments last night was horrified when I said, you can rip out a page from the magazine, put it up on your your bulletin board. And she said, I would never rip up my Plein Air Magazine. I have every single one from the beginning. Thank you for that. That means a lot to me. I know I was kind of horrified that I said it. And I can rip them up because I have extra ones. But I like to cut things out. I keep a file of paintings that I love, artists that I love, and it's nice for me to be able to rip something out and throw it in a file folder, and so I can learn about you know, artists or styles of painting and things like that. And the magazine is really great because it appeals to both people who love to paint, but it also is a collector's magazine because there are people who follow painters who go to plein air events around the world, and they follow painters around, and they like to go to these events and see how they paint and kind of live vicariously through them, but they also buy paintings. And so we've got, you know, lots of collectors who read. The other thing that's a real phenomenon that's happening lately is that collectors are becoming artists. A lot of collectors that have attended events are now saying, hey, I want to learn how to do this. So they not only are still buying paintings, but they're also learning to paint. So that's a perfect magazine for you. And so we would love to have you as a subscriber. Thank you so much. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about 10 myths that keep you from being a wealthy artist. Does it sound like a plan? You may or may not be able to see my board, but I'll do the best I can, and we'll see if we can fill this in for you. And somebody might want to take notes and put them in posting. And remember, you need to be posting anyway, because posting is how you win prizes. And it's nice to say where you're from, especially if you're from outside of the United States. Now, I want to mention, you know, I do this every day, and a lot of you are there every day, and a lot of you are used to me repeating things. But every day somebody pops in and says, hey, you're new, I didn't know you, what are you talking about? Where do I find these videos? The free videos that we do every day are not here on my channel. They probably should be, but once I'm done with this, I'm off doing other things. And so my team back at Streamline is busily working away. And so they post these live videos every day, and at 3 and at 9 on Facebook at Streamline Art Video. Let me repeat that, Streamline Art Video. And they also post them on our Streamline Art Video account on YouTube, and oftentimes on our other channels on Facebook and Instagram. So look for them at Streamline Art Video. The way to do that is go to YouTube or Facebook and just search Streamline Art Video, and then subscribe or follow. That way you get them automatically, all right? And we have had literally millions of views of these things, and it's been really helpful, quite frankly, because I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a small business guy. It's family owned and operated. I've owned this business for a long, long time. I got into the art world about, I don't know, 15, 18 years ago now, and started my first magazine, which was Plein Air Magazine, my first art magazine. I was a publisher before that and still am in the radio industry. And as you know, when you're a publisher, you make your living off of advertising and subscriptions. And advertising has kind of gone backwards because of this COVID. It's dropped over 50%. Now, smart people are advertising right now because this is a great time to build your brand and get noticed, because people are spending more time with media. They're also, there are fewer people competing with you for space, and so you're going to get noticed and build your brand faster. So anyway, it's been tough on our business. Subscriptions are actually going up, which is good, but we can't live on subscriptions, but it's really helpful when you get a subscription. And then we're in the event world. We do the Plein Air Convention, the Figurative Art Convention, the Adirondack Publishers Invitational, the Fall Color Week. We're doing a trip to Russia in fall a year from now. And so we, you know, we sell seats to conferences. And so that business has been really hurt because of a lot of cancellations, people fearing, even though we've rescheduled. So we hope that if you can come, you will come, because that helps us. But when you look at these videos, there's always in the comments section, there's always, it says, you know, that there's a discount on the video that we've been doing. We never discount things, and so we've been doing this for the whole quarantine time, for the day of the broadcast only. So it tells you the discount on the video, and then it also tells you can go to lilyartvideo.com. Now, we have 3 video businesses: Lily Doll, Streamline Art Video, and Creative Catalyst, which is mostly watercolor. And so you can go, it says Lily there, and you can go in and get that video and get a discount on it. Most of the videos we're showing, a roughly an hour segment with the interview, maybe a little bit more. Some of our videos are 15 or 20 hours. I mean, they're like going to to a school, and really in depth, and you can really get exponential learning by watching them and learning. There's a boat going by, and so you might see boats going by in the background. There's a couple of them going by right now, and there's some kids out there on a boat. What a great time to be here. It's a summertime. So, okay, we're going to get to day 84, 10 myths, okay? Now, somebody write these down and document them and make sure you're making comments. I cannot see your comments right now, but I will see them later. The first thing to understand is that there is this myth that artists are supposed to starve. And I don't know where this myth came from, but it's probably Van Gogh, right? Van Gogh was a starving artist. He only sold one, maybe two paintings in his lifetime that we know of. His brother was an art dealer and helped him along. But, what he did was so radical at the time that, it was not appreciated. It was not really until his brother's wife made him famous when she was in her senior years, and she started selling off some paintings. That's what really made him famous. But until then, he was a starving artist. It is not romantic to be a starving artist. I'm sure Van Gogh wanted to sell paintings. I'm sure that he wanted the income. You could read a book of his letters. He's always asking his brother for money, and his brother supported him. But we don't want to have to be that person. So the whole idea of the starving artist is not romantic. If you think it's romantic, that's cool, but I don't think it's romantic. I like to eat. I like to be able to feed my kids, send them to college, do the things that we parents are supposed to be doing for our kids. So I know a lot of artists because of what I do for a living. I literally know thousands of artists. And I will tell you that I know artists who you would never suspect because they're very humble, very modest people. I know artists who are multi-millionaires. I know artists who have multiple homes, vacation homes, regular homes. I went to dinner with one artist. He picked me up in the top of the line Mercedes one time, brand new. He just picked it up. He was telling me about he's got 3 different homes, one in a foreign country and 2 others in the United States, and he was thinking about buying a 4th home. And a real humble guy. You would never suspect that he had any money. Is not a guy who typically rubs it in your face, but he and so many others want to have their dreams realized. And my goal for you is to help you realize your dreams. Now, I don't think that anything in life is about money. I think money, my sister-in-law calls money fun tickets. They help you buy the experiences that you want. They help you pay for the things that you need. I don't have any desire to try to force you into a box. I don't care if you get rich or if you are not rich. That's up to you. I mean, I'd like you to be if you want to be. My goal is to teach you these things so that if you want to be, you can be. Anybody can realize their dreams. No matter how you grew up, no matter where you come from, no matter what your stage in life, no matter what advantages or disadvantages. I happen to know families who have kids families that were raised that have never done anything with their lives. And they had advantages. They had family members willing to fund businesses for them. And I know people who have had nothing in their life and pulled themselves up out of the swamps and been able to really turn themselves into successes. And so it's all about mindset and thinking clearly. I was watching Elon Musk last night, the guy that started Tesla, started PayPal, some other things. He's a billionaire. He's worth $34 billion. He said that he works 100-hour weeks. And the reason he did that is by working 100-hour weeks, he can get done in 4 months what everybody else takes a year to get done. And he loves to work and he loves to have fun. So, to him, work is fun. I'm not a 100-hour week kind of guy. I used to be. Now I'm probably about a 60 or 70-hour week kind of guy because I still like to go painting. But it is, you can get a lot of things accomplished if you're willing to spend extra time. But it's not about time, it's about efficiency. And it's about thinking time. I have a friend, he recently passed away, he was a billionaire. And he said to me one time, and he was about 40 at the time, and he was a billionaire originally. And he said, you know, I spend 50% of my time living on my yacht in, I think it was the Bahamas or something, and not working. And I said, how can you do that? He said, well, first off, I work, you know, 100-hour weeks when I am working. He said, but when I'm not working, I'm always thinking about my business. And he said, you cannot succeed in a business unless you give yourself thinking time. And that's what I love about being up here in the woods, is that I get a little bit of thinking time, because you know, normally when I'm working, I'm like jamming it all the time, and it's like your muscles are tight all the time, right? Like it's working out all the time and you're huffing and puffing all the time. Well, sometimes you just got to relax, and when you relax, your brain works better. And so you need that thinking time. And so thinking about your business, and you are in a business if you're selling anything, if you're selling art, you're in a business. It's a small business, but it's a business. And so you need to be thinking about developing your muscles, right? And you have to have muscles in marketing, muscles in accounting, muscles in shipping, muscles in, you know, the different disciplines that you need as an artist. So the 10 myths that keep you from being wealthy as an artist are, number one is, if you build it, they will come. Remember Field of Dreams? Remember that movie? And it was always, if you build it, they will come. That is a complete myth. There is this idea that if I do good paintings, the world will beat a path to my door. If I do good paintings, I will get noticed. And the reality is that's not true. Now, I did a podcast interview yesterday, recorded one with Jane Bell Meyer of Illume Galleries. And Jane said to me, there are so many things that are important for artists to be doing before she even considers them to be in a gallery. And the biggest thing is, are they good at marketing themselves? And so we have this belief that if I can do a good painting, that I'll succeed. But I was brought over to England by an art dealer who said, I found a painter who is every bit as good as Monet. He's in his 70s, he's done hundreds of paintings, he works for the post office. I cannot talk him into selling his paintings. Will you come over and help me? I said, sure I would. And this guy, I got over there, and then he wouldn't even meet with me. And this guy is a brilliant artist, but he is just expecting things to fall in his lap, and they don't fall in his lap. And so he'll never be realized. I know artists here in the States who are brilliant artists who barely can make a living. And I know artists who do paintings that are not what I would consider to be of the ultimate quality, and yet they're making a good living. So it has a lot to do with how you market and present yourself. Now, I will tell you that I'm all about marketing good paintings, not marketing bad paintings. But I will tell you that we've all seen paintings that, I can name names, but I don't want to get sued, but we've all seen paintings from people that we're like, how did that guy become a multimillionaire, right? Or how did that girl become a multimillionaire? So first myth is, if you build it, they will come. It's not true. The second myth is that marketing is evil. I don't know where that comes from. I suppose that comes from, you know, thinking about the man is evil, or anybody who owns a business is evil. The reality is that your barber is not an evil person, because your barber owns a business, and when she or he puts a sign up in their window, that is marketing. If they put a little flyer out on windshields, that is marketing. I don't see anything evil about that. The whole goal here is, it's like being in class and raising your hand so the teacher calls on you. You know, if somebody has a choice between, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 or 50 or 100 barbers, what can you do to stand out as that barber? Marketing isn't evil. there are evil marketing people out there. There are people who do things that none of us appreciate, none of us like. There are people who are high pressure sales. There are people who scream loudly. You know, you see that on TV. You see the car dealers like, today, today, today. You know, it's like nonsense. But you can also find people who market cars very gently and very beautifully. Look at Lexus, for instance, that they do it very, very nice. So marketing isn't evil, and if you develop a muscle in marketing, you're going to get a long way. But as long as you think it's evil, you won't do it. And if you don't do it, you're probably going to hurt yourself. The third thing is that big is better. Now, I deal with this every day of my life. There's this belief that big audiences are better, and that if I get in front of more people, I'll make more sales. Now, think about the reality of a situation. How many paintings do you sell? How many paintings do you paint in a year that you're willing to put up for sale? I mean, for some artists, you look for a high quality artist like George Carlson, he might do 4 paintings in a year. He maybe only do a couple paintings in a year, and he's getting $250,000 for those paintings. The reality is that you only need a certain number of buyers, and you've got to look for a place that is, I always use the term stand in the river where the money is flowing. You want to stand in the river where the money is flowing, and the people and the fish in that river, the money in that river are the people who are more likely to buy. See, you know, you could get on something with a big audience, and none of those people in a big audience are willing to be buyers. Maybe none of those people are willing to be art. So there's this belief. We had years ago, there was a magazine that was a competitor of ours, and they were touting the fact that they had, you know, 100,000 readers, and you know, the big is better, and people would get seduced by that, and they'd buy ads. Then I'd hear from them, they'd say, you know, I couldn't really tell any difference. And my marketing, or one of my guys was together at a marketing conference for magazines one time, and he sat down and he met the guy that was the head of circulation marketing for that magazine. Magazine's not around anymore, by the way. But the guy said, you know, we thought that big was better, and so we offered $1 subscriptions, and we sold lots of people subscriptions. He said the problem was none of those people could afford to buy anything. So we had a magazine filled with people who loved art but didn't buy art. And so when I designed my magazine, I thought, Fine Art Connoisseur, I don't care how many people read it. What I care about is how many people that read it will buy art, because all I got to do is sell one painting, you know, for each advertiser, sometimes more than one painting. And by the way, it's not always about selling one painting. You know, it depends on your strategy and your goal. But you've got to think about, you know, it's not bigger is better. Just because somebody says they got a big audience doesn't mean they got a big buying audience. What I'm trying to do is have a compacted audience of people who buy. And so that's something you want to think about. Big is not always better. The next thing is, you know, I'm doing them in the wrong order, so I should have been going back and forth, so ignore my numbers, doesn't really matter. The next one is that advertising one time will work. Now, I'll tell you a story. I probably have told this story before, but I wanted to build subscriptions of known art collectors, and so I thought, well, there's an auction house that has a magazine. I thought, well, they've got a lot of art collectors, and I'll go after that auction house audience. And so I called them up. I said, how much for an ad in your magazine? And they said, it's $18,000. I said, okay, I'll call you back. So I went together with my team, and I said, okay, guys, we always stop for loons. Okay, we stopped for loons. Loons last night were going crazy. So anyway, I went to my team and I said, listen, guys, I want to do... All right, I'm not going to stop again. So I said, I want to do an ad in this magazine. They said, it's $18,000. You realize how many subscriptions you'd have to sell at $40 a subscription to make that $18,000 break even, and you want to be, you know, more than that. I said, I think it's going to work. And they said, Eric, you preach against that. You say it's not going to work. And I said, I think it's going to work. I'm going to write such good copy that it's really going to work. So against their advice, I went ahead, I wrote the copy, and I bought the ad. I spent $18,000, and I sold exactly 2 subscriptions. It was a bomb. And I wasn't following my own advice. Advertising one time typically doesn't work. It can work if you're doing a show, it's an announcement for a show, but even that, you should really be doing it 2 or 3 times if you possibly can. Repetition is what sells products, and when you're trying to build the brand of an artist, you've got to have that repetition. So advertising one time does not work. If you start learning how to do advertising properly, it can make you very rich very fast. Now, the next thing is a website is all I need. A website is all I need. I've had people, even advice, people calling in from this, writing me and saying, you know, I put all my time and effort into building this website, and I haven't sold anything. I haven't even got any visitors. And I've said the other day, it's kind of like having your name in the phone book. There are billions of websites. Having a website is nothing. Having a website is only good if you have a system, and I mean a system, for driving people to that website. Because you've got to drive people to the website, then you've got to capture their information, and then you've got to use that captured information to have a consistent relationship with them, because they're not likely to ever visit your website again. Sorry, I know you don't want to hear that, but it's true. And so having a website is not an answer to a problem. Everything is about having a system. One thing drives to another, which drives to another. What we do is we make these maps, you know, where we're doing arrows, and one thing happens after another after another. And sometimes we nail it, sometimes we don't nail it. It's experimentation, it's data. You got to look at things all the time. But one-time audiences don't work, and a website is not all you need. Next thing is the gallery will solve my problems. The biggest question I get from everybody is, how do I get into an art gallery? And if you think an art gallery is going to solve all your problems, you are smoking some wacky tobacco, especially if you're in states where it's legal, right? So the idea is, I think if I just turn everything over to a gallery, they're going to make me the money that I need. And that can be true. The problem is it's not always true, and it's not always consistent. My friend Charles once told me, I think he was in 3 or 5 art galleries, and in 2008, 3 of them went out of business and 2 of them didn't sell anything. What was he to do? Now, if he had developed a system and had a program where he was selling art, not competing with the galleries, but a way that he could do it and a way he could control things, had a tracking system in place. I teach a tracking system. So that tracking system would have alerted him early. Now, I have a tracking system in my business that every metric that we measure, and we go through that in a meeting every single Wednesday. I did it yesterday after this broadcast. We measure everything. How many seats did we sell? How many are we behind? Where are we in relationship to our goals? Everything. And so that's part of developing that business muscle, because if you have a system in place, you will then know if your gallery is going to fail you or not. You're going to know it earlier rather than later, because what happens is things, you're selling really well, and then you're not really talking to them, and then all of a sudden things stop selling, but you don't really know it. And then all of a sudden, 3 months later, you realize they haven't sold anything, and then you get the call that they're going out of business. And sometimes you lose your paintings. And so you want to have a system in place, and you want to realize that a gallery isn't always going to solve your problems. And by the way, it's going to give you new problems. Galleries are wonderful. I love galleries. I was talking to Jane Bellmeyer yesterday, and we were talking about how artists get into galleries. It's going to be on the Plein Air podcast next week, and you want to watch that or listen to it. But the idea here is that you're going to have a whole set of new problems if you have a gallery. Now you have communication issues. You have to make sure that you're appropriately communicating. You have to make sure you're giving them proper incentives and so on. and yet you don't want to be too overbearing. You don't want to be the artist that calls them and says, "Did you sell anything today? I need money." You know, you don't want to be that person. So galleries don't solve all your problems. The next thing is that social media is not marketing. Social media is not marketing. There is this belief that social media, Facebook, etc., it solves all my problems. Well, let me tell you something. I'm on here every day, 84 days in a row, and if it just being on here isn't resulting in me selling a lot of additional content. I might be branding myself with a small number of people who are watching, you know, the couple thousand people that are watching this every day through the various channels. But that's not going to solve my problem. And just me posting pictures of my paintings isn't going to solve my problem. Remember a statistic, write this down. 4%, 4%, 4 out of 100 people that are on your friend list are seeing everything that you post. And by the way, not all 4 never see, nobody ever sees everything you post. But only 4 people out of 100 people on your friend list are seeing what you post at any given time. Now, there are ways that you can trick Facebook. There are ways that you can enhance engagement. I teach a lot of that. But the idea is that if you think that that's going to solve your problems, it's not. Now, I'm not anti-Facebook or Instagram. And as a matter of fact, I spend a lot of money with both of them, and I know how to make it work. I've studied it. I've explored it. But I teach that you never want to have everything resting on a single pillar, right? So the idea here is you got a single pillar, and maybe this is social media, and your building is standing on that single pillar. If that social media fails, the pillar comes down. You want to have multiple pillars. You want to have social media, you want to have advertising, you want to have direct mail, you want to have email, you want to have a lot of different mediums, for selling your work. Is this helpful? Are we doing okay so far? All right. The next thing is publicity. We have these perceptions, these holy grails as artists, that certain things are going to solve all of our problems. The big one is the gallery. The other big one is publicity. If I get an article about my art, everything's going to change. All the world is going to come to my doorstep, and it's just simply not true. I've written hundreds of articles. I've published thousands of articles. I watch this, we stay in touch with it, we know what happens, and guess what? Some people sell really, really well because of an article, and some people sell nothing because of an article, and yet they deserve to. And the reason is because they don't have their systems in place, they're not ready. So I do an article about an artist, and then everybody goes to that artist's website, and that artist doesn't have the capture mechanism on their website. Our artist doesn't have a retargeting for people who visit their website. That artist doesn't have the tools necessary to communicate with that purchase. They don't have the buy button. Their website is confusing. Too many things. You know, I talked about scent the other day. You know, you advertise horse painting. They better go to your website. They better see that horse painting. Or there's an article about something, they better see something about that article right there. And it needs to say, as seen in Fine Art Connoisseur or Plein Air Magazine or something. So there's a lot of stuff that you have to be ready for. So again, an article is great, publicity is great, but unless you're ready, if you do it too soon, you're losing opportunity, because most people, unless it's pay for play, most people will not do an article on you more than once every 2 years or 3 years, right? Because we don't want to repeat the same people all the time. And once you burn through the 5 or 6 magazines called pay for play, we don't do it. We don't believe in it. We think it hurts credibility. But you will sometimes see magazines that'll keep running articles on the same artists over and over and over again. It's because those artists are buying ads and paying for that. And yet the collectors see that, they see through it, and they realize this artist is buying their way in, so it hurts the reputation of the artist and it hurts the reputation of the magazine. That's why we don't do it. All right, number 6 is Um, excuse me. I got this all out of whack. That's why I'm having trouble. So I said publicity. Uh, I need a degree. I need an MFA degree to succeed as an artist. I get emails about this twice, 3 times a month. Is I'm not going to sell my paintings until I get my MFA. It's like, why? And when I ask why, and they say, well, because nobody will buy a paint artist who's not an MFA artist. I don't think Van Gogh had an MFA. I'm just saying. Now, he went to art school. A lot of people went to art school, but a lot of people who were successful didn't go to art school. It is not about art school. There's nothing wrong with getting a degree. Having a degree at an art school is a beautiful thing for very specific reasons. Like if you want to be a teacher at a certain art school that requires certain accreditations, certain colleges, certain high schools, there are certain degrees that you have to have. But I also know people that, I have a buddy who got an art teacher job, had never taught, didn't have a degree. They weren't finding any art teachers. They liked what he did. They hired him even though they said in their ad they required a degree. He got the job anyway. So an MFA is an excuse not to sell. An MFA is a beautiful thing. Go for it if you can. I love degrees. I think it's great. I'm sending my kids to college. But I think that, you know, the reality is that a degree isn't opening a door. So I didn't go to college. I used to be ashamed to say that, but now I'm proud of it because now I've realized something different. I was making $35K a year in 1973 as a radio DJ in Miami, which it was the equivalent of about $200,000 a year. I was pretty cool at the time, and I'm thinking, why did I need to go to college? And there are a lot of things I missed, but because I'm entrepreneurial, I just kept starting businesses and doing things and realizing that I didn't ever need a degree. And I know a lot of people who have lots of degrees who've never worked a day in their life. So it's not about the degree, it's what you do with what you have. Whether you have a degree or not doesn't matter as much as how much initiative do you have? How assertive are you? How much are you doing the things that you need to make people aware of you? What's your follow-up skills, etc. Okay, the next one is that, wow, let's see, can't read my own writing. Oh, galleries don't earn their money. That says galleries don't earn their money. Now, I see threads all the time where artists are trashing galleries. You know, I'm paying that gallery 50%, and what are they doing for me? Well, that may be true in some cases, but here's the reality. Again, I was talking to Jane Bellmeyer about this yesterday. I mean, you think about what does a gallery have that you don't have? What do they have that you don't have? They have sales skill. They have marketing skill. They have people who sell, people who make their living selling, and they have the ability to give them commissions. They have hours that they're open 7 or 6 days a week. They have multiple locations. They have real estate. They have the ability to display paintings. They have massive lists of customers. They have constant communication with those customers. Jane was talking about how she's talking to customers 7 days a week, all day long, 10, 12 hours a day. They have things that you don't have. And the best thing about a gallery is that they can be selling for you when you're sleeping or when you're painting. Now, I don't want you to advocate everything to a gallery. You want to delegate, but not advocate. You don't want to just turn everything over because you want to have some control. But galleries, mostly galleries earn their commissions. Now, here's what happens is artists get a little bit cocky, right? So in the beginning, the gallery is working really hard for you. They're doing shows, they're establishing you with their collector base, they're trying to get their collectors to buy you at any price, and then over years, they're ratcheting up the price, raising your prices, getting the collectors to be more interested in you. And the reason that's important is that they're career builders. Now, You can just go out and do your own thing, and that's okay too. But they have a lot of advantages. They have lists, they have people, they know people. And what happens is they spend a lot of time and a lot of money in the beginning to build a relationship, and then you're expecting them to do that level of stuff every year. And that's not necessarily what they're doing, but their goal is to get you noticed and to build your reputation, and then they're trying to keep the sales funnel going. Now, you've got to understand that that's a tough job, and so they earn their money. Now, they may not earn it every day, and they may not earn it every year, but they've laid the groundwork for you, and they're deserving of their share if they're selling things for you. Now, if they stop selling, then you need to have a dialogue, and that needs to go back to your gallery system. You need to have a dialogue about whether or not they're being valuable for you. And they're going to tell you, well, there's a reason you're not selling, and here's why. You're getting a lot of complaints that your work has changed, or you've changed your subject matter, or you've done this or that. You've got to have a two-way dialogue, because they might not always reveal what the issues are. Now, the other thing is that not all galleries are good business people. Not all galleries are good at marketing, but most of them are. And you do have a lot of vanity galleries that start up, people who start their own galleries, and then they try for a while and they struggle. So not all galleries are great, but most of them are, and most of them earn their keep, and they are, to me, they're valuable. I don't have time to sit around and sell paintings to collectors. Now, I don't sell a lot of paintings. I sell maybe 3-4 paintings a year, because that's about all I can produce that I want to send to a gallery. And I don't want to be working on the phones and trying to sell my paintings to collectors, because that's not how I make my living. I'm working the phones and trying to sell advertising, or trying to sell subscriptions, or trying to sell videos, or things like that. So it's different for me, but in your particular case, you need to realize that they're not necessarily going to do that for you. Now, the last thing, this is really number 11, and it's a bonus, and that is that galleries do all the marketing. Again, you never want to advocate anything to anybody. Jane Bell Myers said, I don't even bring an artist into my gallery until I see that they're good at marketing, because it's a two-way street. It's a partnership. We do a lot of videos with artists, and you can see a huge difference. An artist that sells really well is an artist who's partnering with us on the marketing. And we put thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars into trying to sell videos and marketing, and we're buying ads, and we're doing email blasts, and we're doing a lot of different things to try and bring attention to those things. But when an artist says, look, I won't even put it up on my website, that's not cooperative. You've got to be cooperative. And it's true with the gallery. I mean, if you have a website, you better have your gallery on there, and you better have communication with people, and be talking about your gallery. So marketing is nothing to ever advocate, and you want to make sure that the gallery is your partner, and that you have equal share of marketing, because sometimes it's a matter of you making an introduction sometimes, and then the handoff, and then let them do all the hard work. So that's a bonus. Number 11 is that don't advocate to the gallery to do everything. Now, some galleries will want you to, and you have to have that dialogue. But that's anyway. So to go through it again, the 10 myths are: it's not true. If you build it, they won't come. Good paintings alone isn't enough. You have to learn to market. Marketing isn't evil. Big audiences don't just change your life. Just because somebody offers a big audience doesn't mean it's going to change your life. Look for quality audiences with buyers. One-time advertising is rarely ever going to work. A website isn't all you need. Galleries won't solve your problems. Social media is not marketing. Publicity won't sell paintings alone. You need a system. You don't need a master's degree to sell art. You need a master's degree if you're going to be teaching art in a college. Galleries don't earn their money. They do earn their money. Believe me, they earn their money. They can't do everything perfectly all the time, but you got to give them some slack. And galleries, the other myth is that galleries should do all the marketing for me. That's just a myth. So I really hope these are helpful. I'm trying to spend a few hours daily thinking about these things, trying to come up with things for you. And the goal of these things every day is to educate you, to inspire you, to keep you focused on your mindset, your art, to get you out of the funk of what's been going on with COVID and riots and all that other stuff. I mean, I'm not suggesting we ever ignore any of that. I'm not that guy, but I do want to make sure that you understand that you've got to keep your head in the right place. If you are doom scrolling every day and you're sitting and watching the news for 4 hours a day, you're hurting your mind, and your mind and your body are going to react negatively. You got to get out, do stuff that's fun. You got to paint. You got to get your mind into other things. You got to do something for yourself. Treat yourself. Be better to yourself, and get your exercise. Get your mind in the right place. Because if you don't do that, all of this is going to have a negative impact, and we don't want that for you, do we? All right. So I hope it's helpful. I'll come up real quick, say hi on the comments. Aaron and fun with acrylics. That's going to be a fun one. And then remember today at 9, Joanne Manji and the Fine Art of Painting Horses. And those are both at Streamline Art Video on YouTube or Facebook. Streamline Art Video. Comments, put your comments in. And if you're from out of the country, say where you're from, because we want to be able to give you either a pair of value specs or a digital plein air magazine subscription. And we are picking from the comments on all the platforms. That's it. That's all I got today. I will give you another view of the lake because I like to do that every day. It's going to be about 85 degrees today, and it's beautiful. I love to just sit here in my chair and rock and look out and just get a feel for the beautiful area. Last night the loons went nuts. I posted it on Facebook. I just posted a dark video recording, couldn't see anything, but they were going on for really crazy for about a minute. So if you're not a member of my Facebook, please go and follow me there. I can't friend you back because I've reached my maximum 5,000 friends, but you can follow me there, and that way you see what's going on with me and my family and things like that. Or you can follow me at Streamline Eric Rhodes Publisher, and you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter or otherwise. And so I'm not necessarily always active on all platforms, but I'd love for you to follow me. And please tell your friends about these broadcasts, because we want to get more people involved and help people get their heads in the game and get out of all the negativity. And plus, we want to give people stuff to do, and that's what these videos are about. And if you know people who love to paint or would like to learn to paint, that's what this is all about. Okay, coming up to say hi. Okay, great view of the lake. Yes, it is. Hi from Croatia. All right, Croatia. Listen, Croatia, we want to get you guys involved in Plein Air Live. I have, I did something with my friend in Egypt this morning to get Egypt involved. I've got people coming in from the United Kingdom, from other countries who are going to be involved. And Plein Air Live is something that you want to be involved with in Croatia. Get all your friends in Croatia together. And those of you who are watching from other countries, go to Plein Air Live and sign up, and then you're going to get the information. Remember, if you're first in on the waiting list, you're going to get the first chance to get the seats. And we don't know how many seats technology is going to allow, but we are going to have incentives. I think we're going to make the website live here pretty quickly. We've got enough faculty members now to start talking about, and there's going to be an incentive that if you sign up early, you're going to get something that nobody else is going to get. And so you want to get in there so you get the notice, because we're going to send that email out to you guys before we send out the mass email to our list, our list is about 100,000 people. And so we want to make sure that you get this. This is going to be a phenomenal event. So those of you in Croatia and other places. Hamburg, Germany. Ah, wie geht's? Ich bin Eric Rhodes. My Neffen und Schwäger, I've got that wrong. Lebt in Deutschland. Hello from New York. Hey, New York. Hey, Kentucky girl. I watched on YouTube. Facebook wasn't working. That's weird. Okay. Anyway, I got to my hour on Instagram, so that has stopped. You guys, thanks for watching on YouTube. And hello. Internet is not working well today. You know, I got all these kids in camp. They're probably online. Talk to you later. Bye.